No, we're not ready. Right. I thought we were not ready. Told you guys, welcome to the crib. This is The Break, and I'm with my guy, Quintin Denyssen. What's up, Quintin?
I'm all good.
The Mogul. This is the Mogul of marketing, not the juice.
Not the juice.
The marketing Mogul. My man, Guy
Brother.
All the way from the kingdom of the Soweto.
Yes, sir.
But now South African by?
No. Still completely Lesotho, just a permanent resident.
And you know what? This is special because it's a different day today. Normally it's Wednesday wines or wine Wednesdays. Is that what we call it?
It was because Mogul is supposed to have been here on time. So,
we don't even talk about wine no more.
So I mean, what it is whiskey and wine. So,
Whiskey and wine Wednesday.
And this man is a whiskey connoisseur.
You know how we do.
So why did you bring this particular whiskey, man?
Because we like, Q used to be in the Glenfiddich stable, and he taught us some really nice single malts. And then he's kind of said to expand our taste buds and our repertoire, we should start including other brands and other tastes. And Monkey Shoulder has just proved to be a fantastic whiskey. So thanks, Q.
My absolute pleasure.
Yeah. Before we tell them what today is all about, I think some of the people would have seen the flyer. Before we do that, you want to do the honors of opening it up on the show?
Oh, I get to open it up.
So
Okay,
we get
cool.
to see whether it pops or you pull or you push.
No, this is,
And then, like little...
I've done this many times in my life.
Many times in your life. And then you got to smell and tell us what it is that it's about, you know?
There's absolutely no way I'm going back to those days. I'm just opening and putting it right there, but I'll go just for the...
There you go.
Because I pour for the...
Yes, sir.
I'm definitely going to do that.
You know that song, pour on a little liquor. You must do it right here, man, you know? For those that are gone.
I used, like I said, I've done this too many times in my life, so...
It's looking good. It's looking good. Nice and golden. And you know why it's nice and golden? Because somebody got gold out there. I saw a little trophy, and that's what we're going to talk about.
That's the conversation piece, right?
The conversation. Let's tell them what today is really all about. Guys, today we're very excited. A while ago, we were talking about the Tigers, and they were South African champions. Not only are they South African champions right now, they are the Zone 6 champions. If you did not watch that game, man, there were 3 games. They won all 3. The final game was on fire. We got Ra. He's going to tell us about how he feels, how he's going to prepare for the next round. And we're going to tell everybody how it's all going to get to the final 12. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, we're going to talk about R1 million prize money in basketball. I've never, ever even thought that would come to South Africa. My man Byron, he's going to be out here. I think we should start playing Q, maybe start a team, see if we can go get that million. That's the thing. And then, of course, the main event. This man is the main event. He understands everything about marketing and sponsorship. He's been involved in like major market sponsorships, the ABSA sponsorship, the N1 sponsorship. Yeah, those who were there back in the days when we brought N1, we got this man to sponsor some. I mean, you've been involved in golf days. You've been involved pretty much everywhere. And the question today is really that, is basketball sponsorship ready? And that's something that we're going to touch on, but you're going to tell us what it is that basketball needs to have in order for it to be sponsorship ready. But whether it likes it or not, or anybody's ready or not, we're coming after those sponsorships, and we need the money to turn basketball around.
Well, I mean, the conversation is live right now, and it's great. And this is one of the spin-offs of the Cape Town Tigers win. It's not only the win, but they've done a great job of making sure that they're visible in the market and they're speaking to the right people consistently. And then their biggest job that they've done so far is that they had to win on the court. And they've won on the court. They've accomplished the first part of the mission. There's still a long way to go, and I suppose we'll unpack that as we go a little further.
And the minister has written a letter congratulating them, so all of a sudden the minister can say the word basketball.
This is... You said it, not me.
That's something that you mentioned in one of our conversations, to say that may not mean anything.
It might not mean anything. In fact, maybe it means the wrong thing.
Let's have hope.
Let's have hope.
We need the government, we need their support, so I'm hoping that, that letter could be used to try and get something going for basketball.
It's scary, and I don't want to be pessimistic, so I'm going to keep my line of optimism alive for the period of our show. And I mean, like I said, the last time we had the conversation, you were very pro Cape Town Tigers, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm always going to maintain an objective view, and you know that's going to be the status quo as we continue.
Yeah. Just so everybody knows, the Mogul Juice is on his way. You don't see him now. You might see him a little later. So don't worry about it. We are going to talk to my man Juice. He's going to also bring his view of what is going on in the basketball world. You know, him and his basketball literature. So we ain't rolling solo, man. This is like the full bench. This is starting 5. Yeah, starting 4. Yeah, we 5 deep.
So I think a great way to start the conversation, because you've already premised it, is have you, in our lifetime, ever thought that we would have a conversation about a million rand basketball tournament, or someone even conceptualizing it, just from a perspective of looking at this is real, from the environment the sports environment that we're currently in, post-COVID or during COVID, and then every other environmental factor that comes into it with basketball's popularity amongst fans and the general public. It's still, it's almost unreal to have a conversation.
Man, if that ever happens, and in fact, it's not too far from happening, because this man has hosted one where he gave away 25,000 rand as prize money. So at least, you know, they mentioned something. He initially was talking about 75,000. We need to talk about that, find out where it was 75, and then how he came to 25, whether it's going to be $1 million, then it comes to $500,000 or 20, you know, 250,000. Hey, anything over 100,000. I'm sure any team will be happy to do that.
Anything that just involves paying or giving prize money is it's a huge achievement.
For $1 million, I think somebody's going to die on that court.
I mean, I go back to 1997 and the PBL, and maybe showing a little bit of age, but KwaZulu-Natal Marlins, that picture is there, used to be there in Wembley. They won 250,000 back then, and even then the league was sponsored, and I think they had in excess of a 20 million rand sponsorship, because they were staggering it out, obviously, but it just gives an idea of where we are. And then we can do comparatives to other leagues like soccer and what they put out there, and it scales, but you understand how the scale works in terms of ROI and visuals and people that are involved there. So it's interesting.
In fact, let's get to it. The man with the $1 million prize money is right here with us. Are we ready to welcome him, Mr. Byron? How do you pronounce your name again, my man? You Portuguese, right? Or are you Italian? Is he here? Not yet? All right, he's not here yet. I think the production team needs to let us know when he's ready, so we're just going to keep going with this until we are told that he's ready. Obviously, technology it's a thing that is going to take us into the future, and right now the man could not be here. He wanted to be here, but he's got games going on and practice and whatever. He can't be here, but you know, thank God we don't have to travel places in order to be with somebody. Right now it's really all about virtual meetings.
Well, I think I'll premise it, because I have interviewed him before and I've spoken to him. So he's got a community club, right? And everybody who's been on Junior's group, Let's Talk SA Basketball, will understand that the basis of growth, and I think the basis of growth in the US or anywhere else, should be community. So Edenvale Lions is based just here in the East Rand. He went ahead and got some permission for a piece of land that he then developed into a basketball court. I know that they say they've got plans for an indoor, but maybe I'm stealing some of his thunder as well. You know
what I'm saying?
So maybe I should stop.
This man knows.
Maybe I should stop.
Yo, Byron, how you doing, man? Yo, welcome to the show.
So maybe I should stop. But I mean, I want to keep it around.
So we are told that Ra is ready. I mean, I would have liked Byron. Why is Byron not ready? Mr. Sheriff, we said first Byron, then Ra. So we're gonna wait for Byron so that we can do as we said we would do. You know what I'm trying to say?
I remember you saying we keep it flowing, we keep it fluid. So
we're supposed to, we have a running order of some sort.
We did talk about this. Somebody wasn't listening. Huh?
Oh, okay.
Somebody wasn't listening, but it's all good. I mean, hey, we can get this thing perfect. It's a makeshift studio.
100%.
So hey, you know, if you're here listening to this, you know we're not getting paid for this. So I'm sure you can.
But the other premise is that we're trying to have conversations that matter to basketball at the moment, and that's why we have Kaibe here. And it's great that Rap joins you again, or joins us again on the show, because there's a lot to unpack, and especially as we go forward. This has probably been the most prominent basketball has been on anybody's tongues anywhere, well, at least media-wise. And I'm glad that we get to see, there was a little piece there, Musa posted about being on the plane and then the Tigers getting a shout-out. It means something. It does. You know, it's significant when they got to the to the airport. You got to see kids from the community out there just welcoming them back, which means that there is following and people are taking note. And this will just gradually continue to grow, and especially if they are able to get through. The next phase of this competition is not a joke. And even the game against WRBL was not a joke.
Wow.
They trailed for a large part of that game, right? There were moments, and I couldn't watch all of it, but on the follow-up just a little bit, but there were moments of madness. There was all the drama that you needed. There were big shots. Ferroviario could have won the game on the final play. There's a lot that happened. But I'm glad that the basketball gods saw it fit. We talk about the basketball gods, saw it fit for the Tigers to pick up that win, because that has implications as they advance to the next part, or as they try to qualify out Division East and get into the first 2 or 3 spots.
Do you feel?
Yeah. Byron will wait. We waited for him, so yeah.
I was just saying that what Q says for me, a couple of things which are really interesting. Number one, there's that famous quote, "Nothing succeeds like success." And to your point, as soon as there looks like there is national success for basketball, I guess the focus on it is elevated. The awareness of basketball and perhaps the conversations around basketball are elevated, so that's great. But number two, to what you also said, is perhaps it's not just one thing, because here we are, we're going to talk Byron. At the same time, BNL is still happening. At the same time, we were just having the JBL happening. I think you spoke about there's also potentially a women's tournament, Afrobasket, that is coming. So maybe there's the creation, almost the start of a wave of interest in basketball that will just culminate in everything happening at the right time, fortuitously, and maybe, who knows, that will really do something good for
I will tell you this because I've been doing it. There's never shortage of basketball content at any stage. No matter what you're trying to do, there's always stories, and there was always a spin on something, but we will never run out of basketball content, ever, not even local or continental. We don't even have to leave the shores for basketball content 100%. To exist.
Do you guys think it's the change of a tide here?
I should be asking you. You've seen this whole. People you're acting like you're from the outside. You literally have run events. You've seen the popularity and the fall, and you know a little bit more about them. You know just as much as Kaiba does about the sponsorship and the marketing environment. So maybe you should give us some insight, because you're having those conversations consistently.
I'm a born optimist. That's the thing, like if I tell you this is the change of the tide, I'm going to say it every day, even at the worst of times. So for me to answer that question is pretty obvious. And also what I'm starting to see in the social media is that people are starting to also turn around their view of the Tigers. Perhaps there's good and bad PR that people might look at it and say, yeah, well, they this, they that, and this is what the players are saying and the coaches are saying, whatever. Yes, the Tigers might have to, work around the good PR and ignore the bad PR. So for me, I feel that, the country is really starting to turn. There's people that had, no Tiger fans, and it's okay. It's okay not to have those people who are all about the Tigers. But right now, I think a lot of the people who previously were against the Tigers, they're right behind it, and this is what the country needs.
All right. I think it's time to move on to our conversation.
Hey, man, we talk about the Tigers. It's all about the excitement. Yo, Byron, are you here, my man? Byron? Is Byron here?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you are louder than us who are here, man. Oh, that is great to know that you're here, man. You're good. How's the practice and everything else that you couldn't? Whoa, look who's here now. The Mogul is here. But yeah, how's the games and practice going there at the Lions? Edenvale Lions. That's your club, right? Is Byron still here?
He froze.
Oh, this man, he probably got a call.
Load shedding.
No, he probably got a call. You know how it is. You call in via Zoom and then... Not on Zoom?
I've never... Well.
Guys, we got hit with load shedding this side, eh?
Load shedding. Hey, man,
That's why you see me in my car via data.
Well, the bottom line is you're here. And welcome, my man. Welcome to the break.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. You're asking about the games. They went well. We had a couple of games against Kes, one of the top high schools in the country, and yeah, we did well, eh? Dubs all the way. Edenvale Lions, it's just these for us.
Did you win?
You said dubs all the way.
Dubs
We're always winning.
Always winning. I like to hear
That's
that.
how we roll nowadays.
Yo, Byron, man, you look, we've had many chats, and I think right now is a good time to introduce this 1 million rand prize money for your tournament. I mean, why did you even think about that? I know you at some point it was 75, and then it was 25, and you actually paid that out. Was that paid out, first of all? I mean, yes, I see you did say in response to some people on social media, you said you paid it out. Did you pay it out? And how did you pay? Was it cash? Was it EFT? Was it, okay, it's a check that might bounce? What's going on?
No. We take prize money very seriously. If a team wins, they have to be paid straight after the tournament, directly through the sponsors. So I mean, that tournament was actually supposed to be 70K, but then we didn't have people registering. Honestly, like, I was quite disappointed. You know, I think I'm not sure what was going through people's minds and that. But even the R1 million one coming up, I mean, that's the goal. You know, that's what we said on Q Show. You know, it may not work out that way. You know, it could be that the first prize money, the first prize is $1 million on its own. We just don't know up until we see how do people come to the table. Because I mean, for that prize money, we're talking 25K registration fees. So we're going to be talking to teams probably like Tigers, serious people that want to compete for good money. You know, I mean, that initial tournament, it was 25K to the winning team, which was Panthers, which we beat in the round stages with our youngsters, and then 7.5 for second prize, and then it was 2.5 for bronze, and then obviously the medals and the trophies in there.
And tell us about the sponsorships, man. Where do you get all that kind of money, and where do you think you'll get $1 million from?
We don't feel that that's a lot of money. That's the thing in basketball in this country. Like we've always been behind the sport locally and all of that. But at the end of the day, if we're going to play, then we've got to play for proper prize money, whether it's leagues, tournaments, or whatever the case may be. So currently, our main sponsor is Build It. There's talks about an indoor court there being built, the first of its kind. But like I said, these are just speculations and talks. You know, we don't know whether if it's going to end up being that, but yeah, we're looking to build a dome that side, and then basically dealing with companies. We're reaching out to the corporates now. We've been dealing with the big media houses, the news channels. So if we get a lot of leverage behind that tournament, then I think definitely the prize money won't be an issue to raise.
What sort of timelines are you thinking about in terms of this tournament, and do you take other events like the FIBA tournaments that are happening into account when you're doing your planning?
Yeah, so I mean, like, obviously we're looking at probably end of next year, possibly, but that's a very tight kind of like timeline. Just because, firstly, there's a lot of stuff going on. We were already planning to see where we're going to host this thing, but I think we want to do it there, So let's say the indoor court maybe takes 8 months to be built. Then, yeah, but probably we'll definitely have a tournament next year. That's the plan. I don't know when, but if we have to move the big one out to maybe 2023, I'm not too sure, but the way things are looking, we're hoping end of next year. And then, yeah, man, about the FIBA thing, obviously, like, it's like I say, like it takes a lot of like effort from a small academy that's never taken any money from the game. We've been building it for 7 years, and I think that's what makes us different. It's all good and well, and yes, we can put money behind this thing, but we need real love for the game. We need to develop the game from the ground up.
Did you just say you're building an indoor court in eight months? Are you in China? I mean, I know they built a hospital in about a week, right? I mean, this is South Africa. You still have to do the plans, or is everything ready? You ready to do construction, or what's going on there?
We've already, like, the architects have been there. Like, we already, like, we just need basically sign off, hopefully by Ekurhuleni, and then we can start. But I mean, yeah, however long that takes, I guess, that's how long the timeline for the tournament would be if we're going to host it that side.
But is the arena or the building of the arena the precursor to you hosting this tournament? And the question I'm asking is, why would the tournament not happen? What must not happen for the tournament not to happen?
Well, I mean, basically, like, obviously, like I said, we were already planning to see where we can host it. But I think now we've 90% we want to host it by us. So we've only got that outdoor court there. And then we don't feel that that's the right structure for this kind of a tournament. Because remember, there's going to be ticket sales. We need to chat to the likes of CompuTicket, Quicket, whatever the case may be. So remember, just on the registration fees, you're looking at if there's 16 or 20 teams, plus minus 400K. So at least that's going to cover us to a point. And that's what we said about the 70K one. And then when we were like 3-5 registration, no one wanted to pay it. So it just depends on, like, how do people come forward, once we get everything done. But at this point in time, we finalize. we're finalizing specifics, we're finalizing media partnerships and all of that. Then when we've got all our points down, then we can look at how do we roll this thing out, basically.
Sounds to me like when if the building of the arena is something that must happen first, man, you should be looking at 2030. Otherwise, take it to the Empress Palace, because I know these things, man, they don't come so easy. I mean, what do you understand about that kind of timeline when it comes to building an arena before you can have the tournament?
Yeah, I think to what Byron's saying, it makes sense to have the plans and to have the discussions, and to what we're saying about the show as well. You have to be flexible. You can't go in and say we're having this thing next year, and then in 12 months' time you haven't even broken ground yet because of politics, because of bureaucracy, because of whatever paperwork. You need to keep things fluid, and perhaps I think, as Byron says, maybe there is a conversation about slightly different tournaments. So maybe there is a big tournament that will happen in the new arena, but maybe there will be something just to keep the interest there, to keep people involved, to say, okay, hey, we're going to do a repeat of the one that you've done previously, the 25K one, just so that, there's something that's going on, even if this tournament moves out later. One of the things that is clear from all of us who've been in basketball for a while is that basketballers, number one, they will pay to play. It's very weird to be a sports person who sort of, yes, I will pay to play a sport, and hey, that's cool. So you've got guys who are interested, who are committed, who want to do it, but we also know that a lot of our basketballers are not in a position to pay huge money because of who they are and where they come from. So there's all sorts of things that I think Byron and team will number one probably have already experienced, but will experience again in trying to get huge numbers and huge registration fees. But I guess because the show is the brick, and that's his brick that he's bringing, all you can say is we applaud you and we stand by you and we support you. So hey, keep doing it, and if it takes a year, if it takes 2 years, we'll still be there, and we'll still be behind you. So keep doing it, man.
So Q, you had something to say to Byron, because I got two more things, and then I think this will be it, man.
No, I think Byron and I have already had the conversation, but we can rehash it. But just have to be. I'm always a realist, and I don't want to be not optimistic about what's happening. I think the foundation is great, as I said it just a little bit earlier. You're starting in the community, you're getting support from the community, and that's a great place to start. Your dreams are valid, and let no one else tell you that it's not possible. Until people always say it's impossible until it's done. You're a businessman, so you understand the importance of planning and the importance of executing on the plan. And we're just going to be here to either support the ride. We'll do what we can from our side in terms of bringing our own bricks. But I love the audacity and the gumption to just go out there and try and make this thing happen. So whatever you need from our side, we're here to assist if possible.
Just two things from me, Byron. We spoke about it in our many meetings. If it's not aligned to the federation, it'll just stay small. So you have to find a way to align it with the federation, whether it's Ekurhuleni, whether it's National Federation, whether it's Gauteng Federation. There has to be some sort of an alignment there. And of course, you have to be able to say to the guys, you are able to give your sponsors real return or value. And essentially, what we mean by that is that the real return is when you can show the amount of eyeballs that are going to be watching this tournament, whether it's in media value, whether it's exposure, or whatever the case may be. That, for me, is something that we still have to get right in terms of how many people actually watch basketball and what it is that we're saying a sponsor will get from basketball. But other than that, my man, I'm saying, look, if you keep watching this show, this man right here has done many sponsorships across the board, not just basketball, not just soccer, not across the board. So keep listening and hear what he has to say. Maybe you can learn a thing or two to make sure that you're ready for this thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thanks for all the positive comments. We're very grateful for that. And we definitely, like I said, we're behind the Tigers. We're behind, whoever wants positive things for the sport. And at the end of the day, we've got to sacrifice, Yeah, we've been sacrificing for a long time, and it's got to come down to something sustainable now. But the real deal, all of it is going to surface. at the end of the day. And I don't see it taking longer than, we've been talking for a long time. I follow everyone and, and all of that. I come from a rich history of the game. But then, guys, literally 5 years. If there's still issues after 5 years, then honestly, I don't know how long this thing's going to take,
Well,
so we need to all work together and make this thing happen.
Look, here's a good thing that's going on right now, and I don't know if you know it, but the news just broke. I kind of knew about it for a little while now. SABC is going to be broadcasting the NBA games. Now, that's big for South Africa because all of a sudden, every kid out there will be watching basketball, and who knows, maybe this is something that's going to spark whatever it is that we need to be sparked on the ground. And in fact, there might be other news depending on how the talks go, because who knows, this show might end up on SABC. But just hold on. You never know. But all I'm saying is, check this out, man. This is big for you, and it's big for the country. But the biggest thing that is going on in terms of basketball and the turn of the tide is the fact that SABC is going to be out there broadcasting NBA games, the biggest and the largest, and literally the most exciting league in the world. And all the kids are going to want to be like those kids. And for as long as we're doing what we're doing, there's going to be a whole lot of excitement around the game by all of these kids across South Africa. Anything closing, guys? Or this is it?
That's
Byron,
it.
you want to say? Yeah, we want to say anything else before you leave us, man?
No, I'm with you guys all the way. Even us, we go way back, Cabby, Q, everything. So we all on the same page. But I keep saying the one thing I'm gonna push for, and I definitely think we need to do, is we need to start solidifying things locally. Let's support the Americans, let's support the Europeans. I've always said this with everything in my business dealings and all of that. Until we solidify things locally, we're always gonna have these kinds of issues. Let's solidify structures here. And I mean, then the world's our oyster. Then we can compete in Africa, overseas. Yeah, fine, Tigers are stepping up. There's been a lot of positive things happening lately, but we have to solidify things locally for us, for our youth at the end of the day, and our future in the game. So that's all I want to say.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy a golden brick that we're going to put out here. And
with $1 million on it.
Yeah, everybody that does exactly what it is that they say they're going to do or going to receive that golden brick. It might be plastic, but it's going to look gold. Something that you can put out there and say, this is what I did to basketball. Anyway, thank you very much, man. And good luck with it.
Thank you so much.
We'll
Thanks for
definitely
having
be
me.
in touch. All right,
I appreciate it.
So everybody
I'm watching the show, so I'm interested. I watched before I came on. I'm gonna listen in now. I wanna learn, like you were saying,
Love it, man. Good luck to you. Cheers.
God bless.
Chance, I'm telling you, I'm really gonna buy this thing. I'm gonna create
I love it.
It's gonna
I
be
love
like
it.
one of these
I love it.
like
I love
show
it.
trophies, right?
Yeah,
when a person says I'm gonna do this and they
I'm
actually
just gonna
do it,
get my own golden brick on my
you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be
you know?
golden like some of these.
You know
I'm
what
not
I'm
gonna
saying?
drink. I'm not gonna drink any of this
That's
stuff.
fine,
I was
you know
told
what I'm
that after a few glasses, I kind of like start talking like this. So I'm gonna try and.
Yeah, just I think there's a lot of agreement here around you. We're not gonna
Juice,
say
come over here,
no.
man. Where you at? Come over here, Juice. You part of the. Oh, look at this man with the little. He thinks I got covered up in my house.
You want to watch the cameras? You got to come on in quickly, yo. Take a seat. Take a seat.
We keep it flowing here, man. We keep it flowing. We don't mind, Yeah, cats can be late. I remember back then when I used to do interviews at YFM, also pushing basketball, and all these guys, the artists. Yo, man, traffic, man. Let me tell you something, man. The guy will be like an hour late.
This is you're saying he's our superstar, our artist. It's the beard. The beard. He's got a beard allowance.
Hey, man, you got a beard
beard
allowance.
time allowance.
Yeah, James Harden. Oh, you guys have to now keep moving.
We gotta keep.
Production. No. Now, how are we gonna have this flow if now you have to, put the mark on the table and everybody gets
No.
It won't work. It won't work. All right.
Only drinks on the table.
Only drinks on the table, and yeah. So all we're saying is welcome.
Yes, sir.
And
yes,
you
sir.
got the mic.
Yes,
I
sir.
suppose between the two of you guys, you
Whenever
can say,
there's
look,
questions.
we want to talk about that. Here's your drink.
I mean, we do our thing. Of course. That's right.
We're not Wine Wednesday.
I mean,
We are Whiskey Wednesday.
That's the way. That's the way we do it.
I know you enjoy your whiskey.
Q is a whiskey man. I
So glad we acknowledge this here. It's a known fact.
from Q. So hey, cheers to that.
But let me tell you something, right? So we know that Hennessy is doing some crazy things around basketball. I wonder if Q makes a call to Glenfiddich. They might just think about something to do with this show.
Why would I want to change something that I also, you know what I'm saying? Let's leave Glenfiddich out of the spirit of the NBA situation. You know what I'm saying?
Bring Hennessy. I know you know something.
The grape Pearl.
You know Scoop. You can call him up and say, hey, you know.
I did something with Hennessy, so I might just have that conversation.
Have the conversation.
On behalf of the brick.
The more the better, man. We're not saying stop what you're doing with Scoop.
I mean, hey.
We're just saying, hey, the more
that.
the merrier.
He's my man and all that, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So holla at them. Next time we're having the whiskey here, man.
So we're moving along to the next part of our conversation.
There you go. That's my man.
We don't even know if
Boom,
Rice
baby.
here. They haven't told us if Rice here.
Well, no, we can premise it. We can.
Oh yeah. So
we can still have the because I know that this man here he put on social media.